So these are all the topics that we have to look at in advance, right? But this is everything. This is section one and all topics. As I said, training holidays, we are going to get paid for some of them, right? I showed you all a little bit of the algebra slash quadratics last week, Tuesday, where you learned to solve a cubic and solve a quadratic and so on, right? So we're not going here. We're going to something here that'll be a little bit new. Indices you would have learned in for 2 or 3 months. We're going to do indices and series. And I'm going to do a little bit of everybody's favorite topics. Right? And then these are the other topics in section 2, geometry, vectors, and strings. I'll show you strings and maybe a little bit of vectors. And then for what the Form 5 is doing right now, Form 5 is doing differentiation and integration. Sure, that's for sure. Right? That's something that you're going to take a look at. And then section 4. Right? And the way we normally do it, we'll do section 1. Section 1 is the longest. So we start section 1 officially in September. And we take until about Jan, Feb to finish off section 1. Then section 2, we start section 2. And section 2 does take us into term 3. Right? So like the current Form 5, they just finish section 2 and they start differentiation. So normally we finish the whole syllabus by November. In your case, that will be November 2026. No, 2050 used to be like so far away, that's how 2050. Like if you're watching movies from like the 90s, but they talk about the future, 2050, that's just not 2050 and 2050 and like. Right, anyway, so that's our one, right? I'm going to, when I create a group, I'm going to send you all like little summaries and all the past papers. And then there's an app that I will use called Moodle. I'll make it download it and I'll tell you how to access everything in it, right? Make sure you have an email, a proper email, right? Not like people this, right? A nice email. The name properly in it, right? And from that, you'll get access to all the videos. I think we've made everything available, even things I didn't do as yet. Because sometimes in school, you do one thing and here you do something else, right? It will have quizzes, it will have videos, notes, quizzes, right? So you have access to those things. All right, so let's go with surds, indices, and logs. Set up that please. That's all. Half an hour. A big one. I would say. Oh, no, it's half an hour. It's like half an hour. Into average. Right, nice. Right? You remember ending and this you remember your zeros? Yeah? Alright. Without me showing you, see what you can write now. See if you can write down any of the zero. Like same base, you multiply what you do. Try to see if you can write down some without me showing you anything. Any in the zeros. Anything to the power of 0 is something. Right, so without me showing you, see how much of the indices rules to remember. Let me again any rules. Right? So these are all the indices rules here. Right? So your first rule, whenever you have the same base, you add the powers. Okay? Right? If you don't have it, write it in, right? I didn't create a group yet, but I'll create a group over the weekend. I'll just make sure people I'm not creating on the list of this. Right? Same base, you add the powers. Same base and you divide it, yeah? Minus powers. Okay? Anything to the power of 0 is 1. Right? Next, whenever you're multiplying powers, sorry, whenever you have a power to a power, you multiply it. Okay? So like e to the 3 all squared will be e to the 6. You multiply. So you need to know your rules, right? This one, class star by this one because we tend to forget this one. right? Most likely the form that without something, right? And last one, this one here important. This is the one that we're gonna use now, right? The nth root of something is written m over n. Okay, this is one that we're going to use now. We're gonna say have enough if credit investment testing, right? Casio. Casio. What's up? Right, but you gotta get this. Right. This is a good what are they? 991. Buy one with no, buy with no label and you put a label. What's happening? Yes, so. All right, so. Right, right. You okay with that? So we're gonna use this one. So head up SURPS, SURPS. Yeah, hello. Hello. Yeah. Right, head up SURPS. And I'm going to explain all these rules here. Right, write them down now, please. Those three rules. Head up SURPS and write that down. Right. So here's where we're going to spend the majority of our time on SURPS. All right. Okay, everybody have the rules? Yeah. Taking this off, right? Right. So it's starting here. So one of the things I wanted to recognize is that if we have the square root of a value, let's say e, based on the last indice rule you wrote, square means 2 in here. So square root is e to the power of a half. That's okay? So if I had a 3 in there, that'll be 1, 2. If I had a 4 in there, that'll be 1 over 4. Is that okay with that? Yeah? Right. There is something that you also see. You will see that the root of AB is the same as root A multiplied by root B. So I'll give you an example. If I give you, let's say, 8, right? What is the square root of 8? The square root of 8 is the square root of 4 multiplied by the square root of 2. Correct? And if we look at this rule, it means that we could split them up. So you'll get root 4 multiplied by root 2. That's okay? Square root of 4 is 2. And well, we leave in root 2 as it is. So the reason that we use surds is that if you try to find the square root of 2 in the calculator, try to see. Find the square root of 2 in the calculator. Square root of 2 is what? 1 point something, right? And a long decimal. So surds, if you want to use exact values for root 2, we use the root 2, we use the surd, call that root 2. So values like root 4, yeah, it's a 2. But values like root 3 and a long decimal. So we leave it like that. Call that surds. Okay? So these are surds. When you want to get exact values, you use the surds. That's okay? Right? So square root of 8 is 2 root 2. Are you okay with that? Next rule that you may have seen is this. You may have seen that A over the square root of A was root A. Right? There are two ways you can work this out. The easy way is like this. This is A to the power of what? This is A to the power of 1, right? And this is underneath here is what? A to the power of a half. Right? Same base, and we're dividing. What here's do? Minus, right? So that'll be A to the 1 minus a half. Same base, divided, you subtract. That's okay? So the final answer is A to the power of a half. You okay with that? Which is the same as the square root of it. Right? Or we could have something like this. Based on this rule, A could be root A by root A. Think about it. Root A by root A is what? You see? Check it and see. Root A is 8 to the half. Root A is 8 to the half. A half plus a half is 1. So A is root A by root A. And what will happen here? This will cancel. And you'll be left with. That's okay? So you have all these little rules to look at, right? Next one. I'll let you write this now, right? Well, I've told you this already. A is equal to root A by root A, right? Right. What do you think this is? What do you think is root A plus root A? 2 root A. That sounds right. If you have one apple and the next apple, you will get 2 apples, right? So if you have 1 root A and it's our next root A, you'll end up with 2 root A's. Okay? You'll end up with 2 root A's. Think about this now. What about if you have 3 root A minus 2 root A? What do you end up with? 1 root A. And 3 minus 2 is 1. So you'll get 1 root A. Okay with that? Yeah. Suppose I have root A plus root B. What do you get? Root AB. So you're saying that this is the same as this? And these are two different things, like an X and a Y. So could you add X and Y? No. Right? So you just leave it just like that. That's all you can do. Just like that. Right? So let's see if we could combine all of that. Let's see if we could combine all of that into an example here. Right? Let's see if we can work this out. 2 plus root 2 multiply by 3 plus root 2. Copy down all this and then we do number 1 together. Let's see if we can work out number 1. So you're going to see, you're going to have to work with search a lot because then the question is going to ask you to give them the exact value. Good slash bad. Good thing for some people is their Casios can work out this. Sharp. They won't give you the exact value. But what you're doing now, much less than I invest in Casio. Why you invest in a subtle or such? Where you got a problem? A Chinese book, so. Teddy's no Teddy's to get it from. You don't know how much you pay for it. Something. I so much for this is one something. Oh, I'm glad. Okay. You know what's up? That's 2019 US. I used to bring a whole set, and then I just stopped because the next boy was doing it. I let him be able to see. How much you go? How much you get if I remember? It was like 19 US, and if you order like 100, you get for like 9 or 10 or something. But I should bring up plenty. Probably start back. One break some sandwich. 400 that's it. It justified 400 by 7. How much you get? How much? 57. Almost. All right, ready? Ready? So we're gonna do this together. Just like when you're expanding out, you're doing the same thing here. So you're multiplying 2 by 3. How much is that? 6. Right? Then you're multiplying 2 by root 2. So that's 2 root 2. Right? I'll leave it just like that. Don't try and multiply the 2 by the 2. Leave it just like that. You okay with that? Then you multiply root 2 by 3. How much is that? 3 root 2. Right? Or we put the third after. Now, what is root 2 by root 2? What is root 2 by root 2? 2. Right? Remember this rule here? Root 2 by root 2, 2. Right? So root 2 by root 2 is 2. What are you doing now? Bring like terms together, right? So you're bringing your 6 together with the 2, and you're bringing your 2 root 2 together with your 3 root 2. 6 plus 2 is 8. 2 plus 3 is 5. That's it. Got nothing again. You okay with that? Yeah, sure. Watch all the steps, right? Watch how I got all 4. Then I bring the like terms together, and then add them. Right? And here, although it looks nice, it looks really nice to write 13 root 2, right? Right? It looks nice. It looks like the 8 and 5 needed to be, but you can't do that. This is one whole term. There's an next term. Okay? So you can't add 2 different terms. Copy it down and try one for me now. Ready? Come on, try it. Want to try it? Want to try it? Yeah, they come for one of them. They come now and take a easy one, take a harder one. How much you end up with? 7 plus. I think that was it. I just record anything else you components. I just record your hardware. Great, that's not what I'm also like. Thanks. Yep, that's yeah. You okay with that? All get up? So he'll. So you didn't reach it. So far, okay with that. Next one is yours. Next one is yours. Anybody confused? Are you okay with this? Yeah? Try one more. I'll give you one more. One more easy one, right? 2 root 5 squared. Right? 2 minus root 5 squared. Look out. Right? That's all is right? That's the answer. Want to come? So Hill, this one is for you. We finish? I'll give it a minute. Take it. Fine. Ready? So we're going. Right, so we did multiplication. We're gonna give you one hand multiplication and then we're gonna try the division. And then we're gonna have a race. Who will be done fastest? Well, please not down. So take it first. It's the most important thing. What does square mean? What does it mean? Right? And you have to pick out just like this one, which you didn't finish right now. You just chucked it down. All right. You want to go and fix it. That's yeah. See when you want in the book. See who picked up the pattern. One. That's not the code. That's what I'm together. Don't. Like that layer. Right, so remember that 2 minus root 5 squared means 2 minus root 5 by 2 minus root 5. So just square the 2 under root 5, right? And now we're doing the long thing like I did there. Right. Initially, and that was correct. We're doing the same thing. Right. And that was. Next slide. Minus and very. What is minus root 5 by minus root 5? Minus and minus what? Right? And what root 5 by root 5? So, the back of the rule on top. Root A by root A is A. So root 5 by root 5 is so root 2 by root 2 was what? 2. No, not root 2, 2. So what is 5 by root 5? 5. Right? So 5. For the next step. I work with where I do something out of it. Bring you like them together. But what's the name again? Mariah, do everything in order. Bring the light to together. This your own thing. 4 and 1. These are surds. There's 4 plus 5. 2 surds minus 2 root 5 minus. Okay. By the number 7 to 4. What she did. With minus to minus. No, forget it. Just normal question with minus to minus. Same sign. We can add to right sign. Minus to minus plus one. So see we can do that. Take a time. Or two plus two. Right, right. Take it minus, like sign in front of it, minus four. With minus four is equal. Right? No, that up. 9 - 4 root 5. Right? Yeah, right, right, it was. Let's go again. Slightly harder now. Right? So you multiply it out, you bring it like terms together and you work it out. This one a little bit harder, not much harder. This is 5 minus 2 root 3 by 2 plus 4 root 3. Take your time. I just put a number in front of it now. Look a little faster in back there, slow so hill. I'll bring it in front here. I was with the name on it. Hello. All right, so let's check this one. Oh, just in my favor now. Those who have passwords, you run sharp. Put this in here and see if you get it. Wait, exactly like how you see it here. There is a version of the class here that's not using a service. But the teacher who knows how to switch it, you know, to next thing. But the same thing, right? 2 minus root 5, brackets all squared. So you will get a decimal. What you got? Are you getting this? Yeah? You got it? 9 minus 4. You put in this, right? What you all got? No, you're not putting the whole thing, just this alone, huh? No? Okay. Error. So it's 2 minus square root of 5. Root bracket. Wait, wait. Wait, wait. Coding for you, check and see. If person has to be is not a little bit. To the house. Right? So see how people come me from that side. Okay. As well. So yeah, have a day where you just come, you just pop it. But you have to remember it. So I think I'll do some videos. Right? So you can put these things and tell the answer, but you have to show the whole thing. Okay? Right, let's try this one. This one's a little bit harder. Right? Same principle, but a little bit harder. 5 by 2, that's 10. 5 by 4, root 3 is 20 root 3. Right? Minus 2 by positive 2 is minus 4 root 3. Right? And minus 2 root 3, minus 2 root 3 by 4. So here's I want to show you that particular one. Right? This particular one is a little bit different. Watch it here. Minus 2 by 4 is minus 8. Root 3 by root 3 is 3. So minus 8 by minus 8 by 3 is minus 1. Right? Watch it again. Right? So I'm multiplying this by this. So the first thing I did, I multiplied the numbers first. I multiplied the numbers and then the series. So minus 2 by 4 is minus 8, root 3 by root 3 is 3. And you multiply these two, you get minus 24. Check in the calculator. Put these two in the calculator and see what you get. Minus 2 root 3 by 4 root 3. Check it out and see. Oh, wait, that up. Well, Spider. Yeah. Follow how I got that? Right, you pay the minus 24. And now you wrap it up. 10 minus 24. 20 minus 4 is 16 root 3. So now we end up with 10 minus 24 is minus 14 plus 16 root 3. That's your final answer. Okay? I'm going to give you one more line. right? You might specifically see a certain question in math, but you will see it in things where they ask to simplify. Very good. Four, I'll give you one more like that, right? Try that. Without, I'll give you much time. 2 minus 4 root 2 or 3 plus 2. I see you all joining your arrows first, right? But when you draw your arrow, you should work it out one time, right? Do just put all the arrows, right? So when you draw the arrow here, 2 by 3, write 6. Okay, do it one at a time. Good. Let's check your answer out, right? Let's go again. 2 by 2 root 2, that's 4 root 2. Minus 4 root 2 by 3 is minus 12 root 2. Minus 4 by 2. Do the numbers first. Minus 4 by 2, that's minus 8. Root 2 by root 2 is 2. So we have 6 minus 16, right? Then we have 4 root 2 minus 12 root 2. 6 minus 16 minus 10. 4 minus 12 is minus 8. Yeah? Yeah, nice. So here, you need the here like this. Okay. And if you are feeling for you understand something or them, I will go to until you understand. If you don't remember the next day, then you're in trouble. Right, so that's multiplication. Now we want to be able to handle division. It's the last thing I'll be done. I will show you the lots. I'll do enough in this series. Right, how do we handle division? So that's multiplication, addition, applying the rules, right? Next, we need to handle division. So if I give you something like this, I give you the general rule first. Right? If I give you something like that, only way that we can work that out is that we need to simplify. And the way you do it is you do something called rationalization. What it does, it removes the symbol from underneath here. Right? So the way to do that is this. You multiply by whatever sign you have in front of the square root, you change it. Right? But it must be the denominator. Focus on the denominator. And you multiply by a change in sign of the denominator. So I have C minus D, root D. You write C plus root D. And you divide it by itself. Right? This is called the conjugate of the denominator. Right? Well, what is this? What is C plus root D over C plus root D? 1. Right? If you multiply 1 by anything, are you changing it? Are you changing it? 1 by anything will give you back anything, right? So if I multiply this by this, I'm not changing it. But what it does, it allows you to simplify. Okay? But watch what will happen in this small example here. So suppose I want to work this out, right? What I have to do is multiply by the conjugate of the denominator. All that means is wherever the third is, change the sign in front of it. That's okay? And do the same thing underneath. And now I have to multiply this by this, just like what we were doing, then multiply this by this. See that? Right? So I multiply by the conjugate of the denominator. And we're good to go. Right? So I'm going to multiply this out here. So the only thing new that you learn there is you have to multiply by the conjugate of the denominator, which is just simply saying, just change the sign. All right, so what you're saying, I want to do this one for you, right? So you will see what will happen. 3 by 2, that's 6. 3 by minus root 2, minus 3 root 2. Plus root 2 by 2, that's plus 2 root 2. Plus root 2 by minus root 2 is minus 2. That's okay. I can do the same thing right here, right? 2 by 2, that's 4. 2 by minus root 2. That's minus 2 root 2. Root 2 by 2, that's 2 root 2. Positive root 2 by negative root 2 is minus 2. Right? What's going to happen here now? What will happen here is that you'll get 6 minus 2, that's 4. Minus 3 plus 2 is minus root 2. Right? Minus 3 plus 2 is minus 1. Here's the interesting part. What happens underneath here? 4 minus 2 is 2. That's okay? What will happen here? What is minus 2 root 2 and plus 2 root 2? Now cancel off. Yeah? So this will cancel off here. Right? And when that happens, you have no third here. And you're done. right? You could write your answer like this, or you could write your answer like this, 4/2 minus root 2/2. Right? So your final answer is 2 minus root 2/2. We no longer have a third underneath it. That's okay? And you can always check in the calculator. Right? The calculator might give you 2 minus 1 on root, being the same thing. Right? A little bit long, but that's the way you handle division of thirds. Right? Let's see if we can squeeze in 1 or 2, right? Try that. Trying to finish 12, right? I want to make sure you get it. Okay. One a little bit longer, right? Check it. I want to check. Yeah, and just take a time to decide. What's that? I was strictly able to do every day. So you're not told, strict. So, but told that like these or that. Right, so let's take a time with your signs, right? 3 by 2, that's 6. 3 by plus root 3, that's plus root 3. 3 root 3. Minus root 3 by 2, minus 2 root 3. Minus root 3 by root 3, that's minus 3. Right, don't forget the signs, right? 2 by 2, that's 4. 2 by root 3, that's 2 root 3. Minus root 3 by 2, that's minus 2 root 3. Minus 3 by minus 3 is minus 3. This will cancel. 6 minus 3 is 3. 3 minus 2 is plus 1. 4 minus 3 is 1. So your final answer is 3 plus root 3. Right? So here you're doing it good, but you're a little flustered. But you try to go too fast. Right? Take your time and just do it piece by piece. Right? That's why I was saying, right? You should take your time and do this. 2 by 2, write down 4. Then 2 by root 3, write down plus 2 root 3. Right? Do it piece by piece. So you're making little sign mistakes. All right? Take your time and do it piece by piece. All right. So we'll stop there. Right? That's it. Actually, I'll show you something else. So give you an idea of how I master, right? Sometimes you see the some working, you have to stay focused. Right? When you're working, you have to take your time and stay focused. But I also want you to notice that if you develop good calculator skills, it will help you a lot. Because now you can put this in the calculator, know the answer, and check back and make sure. Okay? All right. Take a little 10 minutes before who are put. Right? Take a little 10 minutes. I will have a few. The more the 31 I see I like getting the press on right. And come out with next thing. Thank you. That one. Then it's probably bad.
Well, that's true, I am, right?
All right, let's start. Yeah. Can you give me something like?
Yeah, that's something.
All right. Actually, you don't have to point the camera, right? All you have to do is, just send the answers and any questions I give you, right?
Okay.
Right, so that will let me know that you're following and so on. All right, so let's begin, right? So lastly, I showed you a little bit about movements. So what we do in Shreya is that we're doing going through the entire syllabus, but not the whole thing, but we're looking at different parts of this syllabus, right? On Tuesday, I can record the class that the computer was given some problems. But on Tuesday, we looked at the principle of movements. So you didn't really miss, because when we start back in September, I'll be doing that in more detail. All right, so you didn't really miss anything that you wouldn't see later on. Right. The only problem though that you might not get to see some of the experiments. Anyway, see how it will. Right. So lastly, I showed you all how to really go in caliper, and we looked at something called the principle of movements. Okay. So today we still staying. Remember, these are all our topics here, right? We still stay in the mechanics a little bit. Right, we're gonna do a small lab next week on ice, so you gotta go there. So we still have mechanics today. We'll do some thermal next week. And then we'll do a little bit of waves. Then we take a look at electricity. And then we have magnets. And you have physics of the atom. Okay, so these are all the topics that we're going to look at. Right, but I am just going to show you a little parts of it, right? Right, so today we're going on to, hold on, I'm sure about that. It's here, so I can see it. Okay, so today we're going on to a little bit, we're going to deal a little bit with hydrostatics. Right? And because I have the computer today, I can show you one of the simulation, right?